Hello. Happy Sunday, everyone. Coming in for the next installment of the Rebecca Lynn Pope Show Rise Up Challenge, right? Every day in April. Guys, I didn't know when we started this challenge, I was like, oh my God, I haven't done this in so long that it would be like, whoa. It's a lot to come on every day. It really is. The day gets away from you and you don't even realize it. Hey guys. Hello, hello, hello. All right, so I'm taking today's question directly from my email. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Neeks was asking a question specifically about how to, I think the basis of the question from Neeks was, how do you adjust to falling back into balance in a well-balanced, healthy relationship where it's more of a partnership, where you're with a man who is taking the lead in some areas and you're partnering. In other words, you're sharing responsibility. She was coming out of a situation where she was married to a man who wasn't stepping up. She was carrying the load. And she's asking now, how does she adjust to letting a man, be there for her, take the load off of her, lead in some areas, truly be a life partner? How do you do that when you're coming out of a situation? A lot of the time you can be in relationships where the man just isn't stepping up and he's not responsible and he's not really ready to be that man or husband you thought he was going to be. And when you finally, recognize that you're, been doing too much, she's just saying that she's been in a very long-term relationship where she was doing that. And now how do you back out of that and adjust, to be able to be with someone who is there for you, where you're not carrying the load yourself? And so it comes down to this. I believe that all of us have an innate sense, like naturally we have an innate sense of balance. The problem is that we override the innate sense of what is good balance in our lives, guys, men and women. We override, we ignore, we take on too much, we do too much, and we tell ourselves, we give all kinds of reasons to ourselves of why we do that. So my answer to you, Neeks, is this, is that for women, we have an innate natural way of being able to be soft and fall back and allow a man to do for us, allow a man to help us, allow us to rely on our partner. The problem is when you're overriding that natural tendency. You're overriding it. What does that look like? What does that feel like? It's when you are actually doing too much and you're doing too much instead of allowing him to do for you, right? In other words, he's stepping up, allow him to do that. You intentionally fall back. Here's a good example. When you're in a healthy relationship and you're in a healthy partnership, guys, in the 21st century, there's not as much stereotypical gender roles as there used to be. Like, I'll give you an example. Nowadays, men cook. There are men who love to cook. There are men who are excellent cooks, like chef level cooks, right? Well, in a marriage or in a partnership or in a relationship where the man is such an incredible cook and he loves to cook, are you as the woman going to be like, oh, no, I still have to cook every single day. I'm responsible for cooking all of the meals. When you're with a man who loves to cook, is excellent at cooking, are you going to be still cooking every day and he's not going to be cooking? No, you actually literally balance out in your relationship instead of these cookie cutter roles and responsibilities and rules for how you think it's supposed to be. You look at each other and you say, what are your skill sets? What do you bring to the relationship, right? There has to be a balancing out in our modern society, in healthy relationships. It's not cookie cutter according to what everybody says it will be. Right? It's according to what works in your relationship. So if you're someone like Neeks who is saying, how do I adjust? Right? How do I adjust? Sit down, Neeks, and do an exercise or do a journal entry. Write down all this stuff where you overcompensated. Literally write down in your previous relationship that was so unhealthy and imbalanced, and all the stuff and extra that you were doing that your ex-husband was not stepping up to do, that wasn't well balanced in your relationship. Write down all the stuff that you were doing extra, that you felt like put all that extra pressure on you, that literally you didn't have help, you did not have a sense of somebody being there to help you. And now as a single mother, as you're going into this new relationship, these are the conversations you have with new partners. These are potential new partners. You have conversations about roles and responsibilities. What do you like to do? I'll never forget, I first started dating Carrie. I asked him a lot of questions. I'm like, are you good with money? I already know I don't want to have to be the one paying the bills every week, paying the bills every month in the house. I hate having to actually go pay the bills, right? That's not me. Whenever I was getting to know someone, when I met Carrie and we were dating, are you good with money? Yes, I'm good with money. Are you good at saving money? Yes, I'm great at saving money. Check. Why? Because that was very compatible with me. Somebody who's willing to do that and that's not a big deal to them, that takes a lot off my plate. In Neeks, you just joined. I'm answering your question. You're going to have to go back and catch it from the beginning because I'm actually answering your question. Literally, you need to know and get to know yourself and recognize your areas of strength and your areas of weakness. What are you not great at? And that's what true compatibility is about, guys. It's recognizing what you're really great at and then recognizing that somebody else may be stronger in those areas, right? And then together you guys are a stronger unit because it's filling in the gaps for each other, right? Right, because now you make each other better. He doesn't have to be great at the areas where I'm great. Literally, Carrie and I had these conversations, guys, while we were dating. It was literally like, this is what I don't mind doing. This is what, and he was like, I don't mind doing this. And we're splitting up those roles and responsibilities to make our partnership strong and healthy. We were having those conversations really early on in the getting to know you process. So there's no big surprises when we're getting married. We have it all lined out. He knows what he's going to do. I'm saying what I don't mind doing, right? I literally have done 98% of the cooking in our relationship, right? But Carrie washes the clothes. I hate washing clothes. I hate folding clothes. If I wash clothes and they're going to sit there in a basket for 2 weeks, not getting folded. In our partnership, me doing the cooking, him washing the clothes, right? He's more of the person who's going to be like, I hate toilets. Oh, I hate toilets. I don't even want to touch toilets. I have boys, right? I had sons. I don't want to clean no bathrooms and no toilets because boys are nasty. Carrying the boys, they handle the bathrooms. I don't touch the bathrooms, right? Like you got, it's about the partnership. The partnership. Neek says, thank you. What if the man does not want to step up and you feel like you are taking on both roles? Basically, we're not compatible then, right? I would say that you have to be able to actually express what it is you're looking for in a partner in Neeks. And if they're not willing to do what it takes for you to be happy in a partnership, two people, this is the thing I've analyzed and about Carrie and I. The reason our relationship works so well is we both have a level of maturity coming into the relationship and an appreciation for each other because we both have been in bad relationships. We both have been in bad marriages. This is why we talk and mention all the time about relationships being for mature people. Because when you have come out of bad things, when you have not been happy, you've not been compatible, and then you meet someone and it really is compatible, guess what? You want your partner to be happy. Carrie wants me to be happy. I want Carrie to be happy, right? So now what's going on in this relationship, we are actually working hard because we actually want the other person to be happy, right? And what that means is that guess what? It's not like I'm trying to get out of things and see how much he'll handle, or he's being lazy and trying to get out of things to see how much I'll handle. We're actually saying, what more can I do for you? What more can you do for me? And that's a positive reinforcement, guys, because in our relationship, then there's always more giving on both sides. It's not more give or more take from one or the other. It's more and more. Oh, what can I do for you? Do you want some coffee? Right? I'll make you breakfast this morning. Right? What do you need to make you happy today? What can I do to contribute to you being happy today? Right? That's maturity, guys. And that's why I say everyone's not ready for a healthy, happy relationship, because healthy, happy relationships are not selfish. They're not selfish. You're not in it just for what you can get out of it. You're in it because together you want to be able to improve each other's lives, right? Christina says, I do inside, he does outside, simple, and it works for us. And Christina, that's the point I'm making. In each relationship, you have to determine what works for your partnership. Carrie handles, I never have to worry about putting gas in the cars. Carrie handles putting gas in the cars. He handles getting the cars washed. He handles getting the cars maintenance. I am so a girly girl, guys, right? But I'm over food. I'm always, even if we're eating out 3 nights out of the week, it's up to me to decide where are we going, what we eating, or what are we ordering in. Even if I'm not cooking, if I looked at Carrie, he can be like, I don't know. I don't know. What do you want? What are you going to get us? What are we eating? That's my department. We share that. We settled that early on, right? And so but like, what's something else? He's really great with money. I'm really great with cooking, right? He's really great. Carrie is like OCD, guys. I'm more of the messy one. I'm more of the disorganized one. He's more OCD, organized, but then we influence each other. So I've become more organized since I married him. Like, he's influenced me to be more organized personally, more organized even professionally in my business, my office, being more organized. And I make him more spontaneous. It used to be he wasn't as spontaneous. Now we'll book a trip to leave the next day to go out of the country like it's nothing. When I first met Carrie, he would not do that. He would not do that. He was not doing anything without it being planned. Like, what? Where are we going? What are you trying to do? If it wasn't planned, like every detail, Carrie's like really OCD. Like, if you didn't know better, you would think Carrie was in like the military or something, guys. He likes the bed made and tucked, and like, he's very, very particular about how he likes things. And I'm just more like easygoing, like, it's fine. It's no big deal. But then we influence each other. So he's relaxed more, and I've gotten more organized and more, less messy, less disorganized, and we've influenced each other, right? But it's up to you to decide how Carrie manages all the money. He is the CFO of this corporation. He manages all the money. I don't even look at bank accounts. Real talk, guys. I don't even look at, thank God we're at a point, where we make so much money, we don't have to think about money. But I don't even look at bank accounts. I don't even think about payments. I don't think about, before I met Carrie, I had to put everything on auto pay because I am the person, my mind is so preoccupied with business and preoccupied with stuff. Bills going to be past due, and not because the money wasn't there, because I'm not thinking about it. We have impeccable credit. Why? Carrie, right? Paying bills on time, handling business. He handles all the taxes. He handles all of the paperwork, financial paperwork for all of our businesses. He is on top of it. Our partnership works really, really well. Really well, because in the areas where he's strong, that is not my strong suit. He has a history, corporate jobs. His corporate jobs were in operations, management and operations, guys. He is the COO, CFO. He is the chief technology officer. He's the tech person for everything in our companies. Carries a CFO, CTO, COO. He's all of that. Because I have incredible ideas, but I am not the operations person. I'm not your day-to-day running stuff. He manages staff. You have to get with people. I mean, your partner should make you better. Your partner should be good in areas that you're not good in. And if you keep still trying to go based off of old, stereotypical gender roles, ladies, especially for us, that is horrible nowadays. Like I've said before, if you're trying to be traditional about these things, right, you're going to be miserable because women are working jobs. You got the kids, you got homework, your partner needs to be helping you. It can't be all you do is, and this is the other thing. This is also why things had to change. Have you ever noticed that the things men were doing traditionally, especially in the house, were the occasional things, not an everyday responsibility? Do you notice that? Stop and think about it. Oh, you cut the lawn, you mow the grass, or you put gas in the cars, or you maintain the cars. Well, that's not an everyday responsibility. Whereas a woman sitting here cooking every day, cleaning every day, homework with the kids, those are things you got to do every single day. And if you're not sharing that, like where Carrie and I, if I cook, Carrie does the dishes. We share it, right? Because if I'm doing 98% of the cooking, I'm not going to be cleaning up the kitchen too. And I just sat in the kitchen and cooked for an hour, 2 hours, then spent another hour cleaning up behind everybody. No. It is about partnership, guys. And so in Neeks, my answer to your question specifically is that you have to decide, right? You have to decide what is a fit for you. What are the responsibilities you're really good at and you don't mind doing, but what are the areas where you need help? And as long as from the beginning of a relationship, you make that clear about what you would like and what's a fit for you and what would make your life easier, because your partner should want your life to be easier. This is my advice for all single people, men and women. If you are single and you're handling everything by yourself, right? Because that's what single people have to do. You got to take out the trash. I don't touch trash, right? But when I was single, I had to. You have no choice. But in a relationship, no, I'm falling back. This is where I become the girly girl because I can. If you got a man in your life, ladies, and you don't like to touch trash, then he's over trash detail, right? But you have to decide in your relationship who's going to do what. But it's up to you to be able to talk that out. But you first have to know that that's how you want it to be. Great partners, guys, want their partners to be happy. But if you don't know what it takes for you to be happy or know what you want, then you don't know what to require, right? I mean, at the end of the day, in Neeks, when it comes to you going into a new situation, first of all, you ain't been out of the old situation that long. Let's just be real. From the email you sent me, honey, this old thing ain't even done. The ink ain't dry on no divorce papers yet. You need to slow down because you already coming out of a very long-term relationship and marriage that's just now ending. And one of the problems that a lot of people do coming out of very long-term relationships is you haven't even been alone to like really enjoy and get to know you, just you. Women do this all the time. Men do it too, right? You don't even get comfortable in your own skin. You haven't been alone. You don't know what it is to just be you. And then you're already inviting somebody new into your relationship that now you're having to adjust again. You're having to compromise again. You're having to sacrifice again. You just coming out of one situation, going straight into another. There's got to be a period of time where there's a reset button where you get real aligned and settled for yourself. You know who you are. You take time to work on you, heal up some areas. You just sound like you just came through hell in a handbasket, baby, in this last marriage. Sounds like you said all he wanted to do was buy sneakers and play video games. So you were married to a man boy, right? F-boy is what I like to call him. You married to a man boy, and then you jumping right out of this man boy 15-year situation. And I don't know how old you are, baby, but you can't be that old. You look really young. I don't know how old you are, but that's a large chunk of your life that you've been in this one bad situation. And from my perspective, what I learned as a dating coach and matchmaker, guys, is people tend, in Neeks, just listen to me a minute, babe. If you are somebody who's this really big-hearted, caring person, you picked a loser 15 years ago and had a baby with them, right? And then you stuck it out because you're one of those good-hearted people, hoping, praying he's going to change, but not really knowing how to require that. So you're an enabler. So this is why he's sitting around playing video games, spending all his money on shoes and everything, not taking care of you and the baby girl. So you had to step up and do all of this. Your picker's not good. I hope you're hearing me. At this point, I don't trust you to make another choice and jump into something else so quickly because your normal is not good. So you thinking you met somebody better, you're thinking he's so different. But can I tell you what enablers do? Good-hearted people do? They will repeat the same patterns again and again, sweetie, and you'll actually end up creating another monster even out of a good guy because you go in overcompensating, not requiring enough because that's your normal. That's all you know how to do. Now I've said this to women over the years. I don't care who you are. You can spoil the best person in the world and turn them into an entitled little monster if you don't know how to put yourself first and ask for what you want and have strong boundaries and treat yourself fair. So guess what? You just go into another relationship and next thing you know, you're repeating the same patterns because you start spoiling, doing the most, overcompensating once again, even though off the rip, he seemed like a great Christian, man of God, loves God, hardworking man. He's so different from my ex. This is the one. And then all of a sudden it changes, but you are the common denominator. And you're not even taking the time to work on you to cut out some of this passive aggressive, enabling personality traits that you're not able to require what you need from people. It takes work to do that. It does not change passively just because you want it to change. You need some therapy. You need some coaching. You need some self-help books, right? You got to do some work. It's deep-rooted core beliefs, mindset work, right? So that's what's got to change before you even think about going into another relationship, or you will repeat and end up with and it's like, think about it. You met this new guy. He ain't even a loser. But next thing you know, you 5 years down the road and you got another situation just like your ex-husband, or it starts feeling just like that because he's sitting back chilling because you made it okay. No, Layla, it's not just working on attracting different type of people. It's not. Can I tell you that you can attract a really good person, but you will actually corrupt the new relationship and be right back in the same situation? Because if your behavior is the same, we teach people how to treat us. What I've written in my new book, guys, is that if you give and give and give without requiring a whole lot from people, that becomes the normal. It's not that they're taking advantage of you. You're making that normal. You're making it normal. So guess what? While you're sitting around working your ass off and running circles around him and he's sitting down after work, while you still on your feet for another 6 hours when you both just got off of work, you make that normal. He don't think there's no problem with it because you tried to play super wifey, super mom because you're too busy trying to impress somebody, wanting him to think you're such a great woman, such a great wife. And boom. Yup. Deja vu all over again, Layla. Ask me how I know. I ain't talking about anything I don't know. I am a reformed nice girl. I'm a reformed enabler. I am a reformed passive-aggressive person. And I had to realize, wait a minute, I'm in marriage number 3 and I'm getting the same results? No, I thought it was that loser I was with. I thought it was the ex. Who's the culprit? Who's the culprit? Who's the common denominator in this ish? Rebecca Lynn Pope. Rebecca Lynn was the common denominator. And I had to realize, like, I woke up one day, I was like, why I become my mom when I get married? I learned how to be great at it in dating, but as soon as I got married, I become passive Patty, acting like I'm in the 1950s. But then on the one hand, I'm a CEO, boss chick, running businesses, making money. But in relationships, in my marriage, I'm going to revert to being enabler and passive. Because why? That was my role model. That was my mama. I got it honest. Really, really honest. Innie says, ish is really deep, shaking my head. Wow, exactly, sweetheart. So there's not a good man in the world that's going to fix that for you. I don't care how strong he is, how hardworking he is, how good he is, how much he loves God, how much he loves you. We train and teach people how to treat us. We train and teach people what to expect of us. And if we're always doing the freaking most, and we don't require very much in return in any situation with any person, you're going to start to become unappreciated because people become entitled. Lee says, how accurate are love languages in a relationship? I think they're fairly accurate. I think it's fairly accurate. I think the easiest thing to do is when you find somebody who has the same love language. That's true compatibility. Carrie, I've watched him in marriage counseling and couples counseling when people have different. Carrie and I have the same love languages. We are very high on quality time. We score almost exactly the same on quality time and physical touch. Those are our love languages. And because we speak the same language, it's very easy for us to love each other and to be able to communicate and be able to receive love from each other because we speak the same languages. When you don't have the same love languages, I think it becomes more difficult. I think a big part of compatibility is having similar love languages, because when you go to express love and show love, it's in the same way. So it's received and understood, if that makes sense. So yeah, I do believe in love languages. I think it's easier when you find people who speak the same language as you. Because Carrie and I, we are touchy. We're touchy, right? Guys, one of the things, I'll say this and I got to run, is that sometimes what I've seen over the years in coaching clients and helping people is I'll listen to people who have been hurt in relationships because, they've been with someone who will say, you're too like this, you're too like that. And the thing is the very thing that someone else didn't like about you will be what somebody else who's truly attracted to you and compatible with you, they'll love it about you. So a lot of the time, the thing you're trying to change, right? A lot of what you're trying to change is actually you just weren't with the right person. So if you're a touchy-feely physical touch person, and then you get with somebody that's not their love language, you're like, oh, you're too touchy. You're so needy. You're so always on me. Like, ugh. Whereas Carrie and I are so touchy-feely. Guys, we hold hands. We're always touching. Like if we're sitting down next to each other on the couch watching a movie, we're holding each other's hands. You know what I mean? We're always kissing. We are always telling each other. We probably say, I love you to each other 5 to 10 times a day. And I'm not exaggerating, guys. Like Carrie and I, we both express our love for each other to each other constantly. And like I say, Carrie and I are those people who have been in bad situations. And when you find somebody you love and they love you, like the appreciation that you have for each other, there's just this constant gratitude. Constant gratitude. I don't know about y'all. See, maybe some of y'all ain't been through enough-ish, okay? You ain't been through enough. But when you've been through some things, honey, and then you find somebody that loves you, right? Loves you and you love him. Honey, we like, I love you. I tell Carrie all the time, I said, if somebody could hear us, if people knew, they'd be like, y'all so corny, y'all so mushy. Like, because we just tell each other we love each other constantly. We're always kissing and touching and holding hands and rubbing each other, like just little touches, like touching each other's hands, touching each other's arms, kissing, hugging. We are very much about quality time and physical touch. Carrie and I can have fun sitting on the couch, playing spades on our phone with each other, playing cards on the little card games together, watching TV. We don't have to be doing a whole lot, but it's just about quality time and physical touch. That's our love languages. We're very compatible. So it doesn't take like extra big stuff, big stuff for us to like say we love each other. We could just sit on the couch and have a good time watching Netflix. And we're having a great time laughing and just enjoying our time together. Right? But you're talking to two people who are divorcees who got it all wrong before we got it right. Right? I mean, we literally got it all wrong before we got it right, guys. Like Carrie and I look at our previous relationships and marriages, and it's like we just realized we got married so young. We were both preachers' kids. There was a lot of pressure. You weren't allowed to date. You weren't allowed to have sex before marriage. So you're like getting married young. You don't know what the heck you're doing when you're 20 years old, 19 years old. What business you got getting married? You ever stopped and thought about that, guys? What do you know about life? What do you know about yourself at 19? I listen to people even in their mid-20s talking about getting married. And I just be like, how many of these marriages last when you're getting married in your 20s? How many of these marriages actually last, guys? Think about it. You're committing to one penis the rest of your life, one vagina the rest of your life at 25, and you think this person is the end all be all, but what have you ever really experienced in life to even compare it with? You think you're so in love. And it's like, stop. I'm just saying, for those of us who are a little older, those of us who are a little more mature, we understand how absolutely like ridiculous it sounds when you just speak from a logical perspective. Logical. Not how you want it to be ideally, or the Bible or Christianity or religion. Realistically. Thank you, Kim. You don't even know yourself in your 20s. Right? In my early 40s, but I thank you for addressing my question. It really hit home and gave me a lot to think about. You're welcome, sweetheart. Christina says, I've been married since 18, now 38. Beautiful. And you are more of an exception than the rule, Christina. I'm blessed your marriage. We pray longevity. We pray absolute longevity and blessings upon your marriage, Christina, because that is not normal. Right? Not normal at all. I only know one couple who's still together that got together when they were like 18 and, been through hell and high water to stay together till this point. And I think they're in their early 50s, but they've been together since they were 18. But that is not a standard that most people can measure themselves against. That is so freaking rare. So rare. And not that they didn't go through a bunch of shit to be able to last till they're in their 50s. Because in essence, you're growing up together. And if you don't grow together, you're growing apart. Nana says, I just turned 30 and I feel like I'm just learning who I am. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, guys. My sons, I have 3 sons. My oldest son, Mom said years ago, Mom, how old should I be when I get married? And I told him, I said, 30 plus. 30 plus. Like before you really come into who you are. Shoot, men don't really come into who they are until like 40. Like really 40, like coming into their money, coming into the maturity, coming into just, that wisdom and experience and, really ready to just like settle down and know what they want and know who they are. I'm telling you, these young marriages, honey, Somebody said to me there's a new term for them called starter marriages. That's what they're starting to call them. It's starter marriages. Because these marriages that you get when you're really young, they don't last. And people now saying that was just my starter marriage. I heard that term the other day, guys. And that's real talk. Because, that's me and Carrie. We're doing, we did what we thought was the right thing to do and what we were taught was the right thing to do. But the marriages were a train wreck. A train wreck. Because, come on. You don't even know who you are, much less who's compatible, who you're compatible with, to be making a long-term life commitment for the rest of your life? Ouch. Yeah. Somebody said I should say that. Yeah, that was just a starter marriage. That was just a starter. That don't even count. It don't even count. I'm being funny, but you know what I mean, guys. I'm just saying. Carrie and I feel like that. We feel like, like for us, we have our children from our previous marriages. And it's like, of course you don't wish your children away. You love your babies. But we both look at each other like we should have been each other's first marriage. Because this is the first person that's really, truly, compatible. Yeah, somebody says I can't see your name, baby. The alchemist, I agree. But what about the women's clock, high risk pregnancy? Yeah, see, that's the thing. I think women, you can afford to wait till you're like 30, to get married. And by the way, that is a trend. You've heard me mention it before. People are waiting till a little bit later to get married, which I think is a good thing. It's a really good thing. I think that as you get older and you're more settled into who you are, your career, your money, everything, you make better relationships, better choices. Can a relationship work if you and your partner have opposite love languages? Yes, they can, but it's going to take more work, Lee 1006. It's going to take more work for sure. Because you don't naturally flow and understand. You don't communicate love the same way. And you have to learn, that's right, you have to learn how to speak their language. Do you think if you and Carrie would have worked out if you met when you were younger, all of your experiences make you who you are today? Kim, no. We actually have talked about that. If we would have really worked, if we would have gotten together when we were younger, and we both said no. It took us being at the point in life when we met for us to be right for each other and to be ready for each other. We really believe that. Miss May says, yes, I want to get married again and wait. I want someone to know how I am and understand me more. And that's one of the things, guys, I will say when I first met Carrie, from our very first conversation, it was like it just clicked. Like it felt like talking like to a friend. We were able early on to just talk about everything. Our first date was like 5 hours long. Our very first date, like we didn't want to leave each other. We just talked and talked and talked and talked. Like our very first phone conversation was just, long. Like we've always just had this connection that was like best friends. And, when you're younger, you're looking for all kinds of things that you expect your, relationships and marriage to be. And then as you mature, you begin to really appreciate true friendship, like real, true friendship. Because, there's a lot to be said for two people who just really understand each other and get along and enjoy each other's company. Just really enjoy. Carrie and I can have fun, you guys, doing nothing. When we were dating, like I love to tell men this all the time. Like, fellas, if a woman needs 5-star restaurants and fancy experiences and expensive dates in order to enjoy her time with you, she's not really into you. Because when a woman is really, really into you, I don't care. You could sit in the car and eat some fried chicken and it's going to be like the best date ever because they're so into you. And like when Carrie and I met, we were at a point, was divorced. I was divorced. I was just coming out of a really, really low, bad time in my life, guys. My mother had died. I was really going through. And so neither of us are like on top of everything, like killing it with finances and everything bomb, when we met each other. So we were like going on ice cream dates, and we had picnics in the park. We weren't like going on trips out of the country, when we first met each other. We weren't like, dropping all this money and kicking it. Like we were literally, we had the most simple, inexpensive dates, like when we first met each other. And that's one of the ways you really know that you're really into someone and they're into you. It's not about all of this expensive experiences. You can have fun, just being with the person, doing anything. That's one of the things that was so different about Carrie and me. Our chemistry, our attraction, our energy. We were able to laugh and have fun. Thank you so much, Miss Jasmine. You're sweet, sweetheart. Thank you. Yeah, like we've just, we had such a good time. Wouldn't it be great if young women would learn all the valuable lessons regarding relationships without making life-altering mistakes repeatedly? Well, the same thing could be said for men, honey. Like, do you know how many women I've known, and coached over the years that have herpes, that have all, because they trusted their boyfriends and they were already in a monogamous, committed relationship, but he's out playing around and then gave her a disease. And I mean, nobody's immune, hun, from life. The only way we learn is through experiences, and here's the thing, fellas, I want to say this, and it's something that I don't think men really talk about. Men, will tend to judge women based on her experiences, based on who she is. Do you think that women intentionally go out and choose a loser? Or do you think that guy shows up sounding like, acting like everything she wanted, everything she, has always been wanting in somebody? Men lie. They will shine you on. They will say anything and everything that a woman wants to hear. Women aren't stupid. It's not like, oh, let me lay down and have a baby with this loser. Like, no, literally, men do such a great, it's one of the things I think, I have a video from years ago where I said things I wish my daddy would have told me, because I feel like as girls, nobody schools us on this stuff. They just tell you, don't get pregnant. Don't open your legs. Don't be with nobody. Don't do this and do that. But they don't tell you, like, I remember as a young girl, my dad talking to me, and I mean, he made it sound like, like, boys were just going to come along and just be nasty. Like, ooh, let me get in your pants. No, boys are like, I love you. You're so beautiful. We're going to get married. They don't tell you that men and boys come around and say everything and anything to get you to trust them, to where you'll be 21 years old as a young lady, and literally some young man, somebody's son, is in her ear telling her everything she wants to hear and thinks that this is going to be forever. And she's sitting here with a little fairy tale in her head that they're going to get married and live happily ever after. So by the time she's having sex with him, she's in love and thinking this is her forever, and that they're going to be together because they're so in love. And these girls don't get pregnant by themselves. It takes somebody's dumb son to not have on a condom and not be trying to protect her either to make these babies that they then leave and are not responsible for after having made all these promises that, oh, we're going to be together and we're going to be a family, we're going to be married, or we're going to just so he could have sex, and then he has sex and is ghost. Men love to talk like women are just so stupid and you've made all these life choices and all these mistakes. It takes two to tango. Last time I checked. And like I said, what I didn't know about men and boys, the same, I'm sure most women on here are the same way. Then you sit there and feel stupid because you're like, wait a minute. How did I mistake and he off and you feeling dumb because, see, okay, that's a conversation for another day. But I'm just saying, fellas, stop sitting here acting like women are stupid. We're not stupid. We just believe you when your every word coming out your mouth is a freaking lie. And you just trying to get in our pants, and we don't know that, especially when you young and inexperienced, and nobody has told you that men lie and they gonna do whatever they can to get in your pants and say whatever they can say to possibly get in your pants. For everything from I love you to you're the one. Come on, women aren't dumb. It's that what women underestimate is the nature of these dudes, right? Of the men who will, and fellas, you don't like to own that part. You don't like to own that you out here like a spider spinning this web that is catching women, but then you mad and act stupid when she's acting crazy because you done promised her the sun, the moon, and the stars and been acting like a boyfriend, acting like you want to get married, acting like you love her, acting and saying it, talk. If it acts like a duck, talks like a duck, and walks like a duck, it's a duck. But then all of a sudden, when she's expecting more and holding you to it, or she pop up pregnant, now you washing your hands of it, it's not your fault. Because all you wanted is the cookies. And she didn't know that because you a damn lie. I'm not speaking for all of you. I'm not speaking for all women. But I'm talking about a lot of what I know from the good girls. The good girls. All these single mothers are not hoes and sluts that were just out here slanging it the way dudes be slanging dick from the East Coast to the West. I'm sorry. Men love to slang their dicks, be community penis, but a woman have more than one sex partner, she's a whore. Last time I checked, it takes 2 to lay down. But then you want to sit and judge single mothers. Somebody laid down and made that baby and got up and left and has no responsibility for the child. Is that a woman's fault? Or are we talking about an issue with men and the lack of leadership and the lack of follow through on the part of men? Right. 2 sex partners, she for the streets. She a hoe. They talk about Lori Harvey like she the biggest little, because she has a life, because she's dating, because she's young. But yet a dude slanging it can go make 3 babies with 3 different women. See, here's another thing. Then you lie and don't even claim your children. You'll meet a new woman. She has no idea you even have any children. Let's talk the real talk. You think women are stupid? No, men lie. We don't know about them other babies. We don't know about these women. We don't know what you've been doing. Then it's only as you get involved and now you're emotionally involved because he done caught you in the web with all his lies. And then you in love, and now the truth comes out. Because like I said in the other video, The Mask, Academy Award winning actors. But it's all women's fault. I'm just talking about the good girls. That's all I'm talking about. I ain't even talking about women out here conniving, right? I ain't talking about. I'm just talking about what I know. What I know. Ask me how many married men been in my inbox over the years. Oh, we can have real conversations because men don't like that. Because listen, what good men don't understand, and I've had to say this to Carrie 1,000,000 times. Ain't nobody hurt me, boo. I'm happily married. What I have had to say to Carrie a lot over the years is, see, good men run in packs just like good women. And good men don't understand the treachery and how crazy and how perverted and how jacked up. There are so many men out here who are a hot ass mess. But good men can't understand it because it's not how they are. It's not how they live their life. And it's just like good women. When you're a good woman, you think all women are like you. You don't know that there's some barracuda women out here. There's some lying, cheating, scamming women that men have gotten a hold of and have turned their lives upside down because these women is treacherous. I mean, snakes. But as good women, we can't relate until there's a situation or experience where you actually realize there's women. It wasn't until I started matchmaking and I came up on some women that I was like, whoa, I didn't know that there were women like this. Whoa. I mean, like witch on wheels. And you're sitting there like, I thought you were so sweet. I thought you were nice. I thought, dang, right beneath the surface, barracudas. And fellas, you may be a really good guy. LA Them, LA, I don't know how to say your name, baby. You may be a really good guy. But honey, there's some men out here who are treacherous. For every one side of the coin, there's another flip side, honey, that you may be one way, but there's people out here living a whole different way. For every rule you try to create, there's a whole nother set of people that are treacherous. And men, so ladies, like, I'll say this, and and this is to be fair, right? For ladies, when you're like, oh, there's no good men feel that way too. Because guess what? Just like you're running into these no good dudes who lying and conniving and manipulate, there's women the exact same way. So there's like all these good people who are trying to show up and do their best. And then there's the other people, like I said in the Everybody Ain't Good video, right? There's a bunch of others that ain't so good, right? Ain't so good. These men, honey, and this is a whole nother video one day, but I've said frequently that there's a lot of these married men, and wives love to hate on women who date married men, women who get involved with married men. And this is a whole nother subject, and I have to cover it later. But literally what they don't understand is, like, they love to not hold men accountable for this, but married men ain't out here acting married. Can we talk about that for a second? That there's a bunch of married men are out here in these streets just like they single, and then they meet single women and date them and court them and do the absolute most to sweep them off their feet. And then the woman falls in love, and only after she's fallen in love does she find out he's married. Because they out here acting a whole single. Ask me how I know. See, that's what I'm saying. When you get some experiences, it's hard to judge people. I fell in love with a married man and did not find out until like 90 days, 4 months into dating him that he was married. Oh, like married. And I'm sitting, because in your single mind, you're like, you ain't a man who is whining and dining and spend all this time. He can be anywhere with you any time of the day or night, weekends, daytime, weekdays. Ain't no rhyme or reason. Ain't no checking in nowhere. Ain't no, how you married? How are you? That's a whole nother subject. And then women love to blame these other women. Love to be like, these hoes, these sluts, they just trying to steal your man. They trying to steal these husbands. They ain't trying to steal nothing. They don't even know. Don't even know. How did I find out? A friend of mine found out who I was talking to and who I was dating, because Atlanta ain't too, guys, the world has become smaller and smaller. And she said, Rebecca, who are you dating? And I said his name. And she was like, girl, I think he's married. I think I know his wife. And I was like, what? Guys, when I say no, we love to say, thank you. Somebody said, Shell said, I have never been pursued as hard as I have by a single guy. The married guy pursues you so freaking hard. And it's one of the things I told somebody, I had not been wined and dined and courted and pursued the way that man pursued me. It is like no other, like single men do not go this hard. Single men do not come for you the way married men do. They go over and beyond because it's all part of the game. Because then when they get you, see, they've already got you hook, line, and sinker, because they literally are they come as everything you ever wanted. They get you to fall in love and you're hooked. Now they tell you, but now you've got this problem because you in love. That's their whole plan. That's the game, y'all. So that then it's so hard for you to walk away. So hard for you to leave. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. It's game. Game. And I'm sitting here like, and I was one of those people, I'll tell this and I gotta go. I was literally like one of those people who, because my dad had cheated on my mom, right? My dad was a cheater, had a baby on the side, everything. This is stuff people don't talk about, right? And I had swore I would never be somebody that ever mess with somebody married, because like for me, I'm like, I ain't sowing them seeds, right? I am not sowing those seeds. I ain't gonna mess with nobody's husband, because I ain't trying to mess up my blessings, right? I ain't trying to be married and in love and then my husband dipping out on me because I sowed those seeds. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a cheater. And literally this man done put me in a situation. And I'm sitting here like, how the heck did I get here? How, out of all the women, you could have chose. You got a whole wife and babies at home. Why are you out here in these streets acting like a single man? I couldn't believe it. And that's why I say, unless you really know how these married men are, who are cheaters, unless you know how they are, stop putting your mouth on stuff. Stop putting your mouth on these women, because it's not like you go into it knowing they don't want those women. They don't want little Susie Slore who's just doing whatever and is treacherous. No, they want good girls. They want the good girls. They want the girls who would never sleep with a married man, who would never date a married man. They don't want the women who are so treacherous they deal with married men. That's not who the married men want. Anyway. Oh, somebody said, Rebecca, it's game on both sides. I met two women around the same time. Come to find out, both were married and one told on the other. Listen, y'all, I can only speak from like a woman's perspective, but I already know. Yes, these women are treacherous too. There's wives out here wilding out, doing whatever they want to do. That's why I say, guys, do you see what I'm saying about how like there's no more rules? There's no more rules. Like all of it's out the window. People are out here acting crazy. Seriously, crazy. And you still trying to play by these idealistic rules, and there's no more. Wives don't act like wives. Husbands don't act like husbands. Yeah, somebody said it's ghetto out here. It's a mess. And then what's sad is that a woman falls in love with a married man because she didn't know he was married. Now she in love, and now she can't find nobody that's single to even treat her the way the married man does. Now she's in this whole conundrum, right? Because You know, now you in love with somebody, he treats you so good, better than anybody you've ever met who was single. Now you got to try to get yourself out of this situation, and your heart and your mind are so caught up because ain't even nobody you gonna meet treat you like this. Now you're super heartbroken because where are you going? Who is there? Latoya said, these married men be so out in these streets, it makes you wonder where the heck the wives are. Guys, in that situation I was in, I had the same question, Latoya. I was like, now, we've been in Miami, we've been on here, we acting like a whole couple in these streets. You know, we walking down the street holding hands, we out all night, we party until the sun come up. Y'all know. Look, I wasn't being saved, y'all. I was kicking it. We having a blast. You know what I'm saying? Like, we party until the sun comes up. We getting stamps and passports. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just sitting like, I'm so confused right now. Like, how do you get away with this? I'm just telling you what, that was my experience. And I was like, and then how you not answering for where you are and how you're not home? And I don't know. I'm just telling you what my experience was. I don't know. She said maybe the wives don't care. I don't know. He had money. So maybe these wives be in these situations where they taken care of. I don't know, guys. All I know is I can speak to my situation is that I didn't know. I was innocent in the situation. And I know that, you know, there are people who are knowingly in these situations, but I'm telling you, there's a whole lot of people who get in these situations that did not intentionally sign up for this. I don't think they're allowed to cheat. I think that men just set up certain situations and they make it normal to where they can have lots of excuses and lots of freedom to be moving about and doing things without being home and without checking in. And there's just a whole, are you still innocent if you stay? No, Joan, you're not. If you stay, you keep dealing with it, you're not innocent. And it was hard. And I will say that. That's why I understand these situations so well. I had to break it off with him, and it was hard. Hard. Very, very hard. And I'm like, literally, and then they do the most to create dependency on them financially. They're doing things for you. I ain't even going to go into a lot of detail, y'all, but yeah, they actually do things that create connections that make it hard to break off from dealing with them. And they do that intentionally. It's very manipulative. They know what to do. It ain't their first rodeo because you ain't the first person they've done this with. Anyway. All right, guys. I don't even know. What should I call the topic? What should I call the video today? What should I call this video? Somebody says we want the details. Listen. It was a mess. Life lessons. It was a mess. And that broke my heart. I was really like, dang, this is how this happens. This is how this happens. And I know I'm a good person. I'm a good woman. I would have never, ever done that to some woman. I would have never done that to a wife, to somebody's family. Never. Never. You hear me? I know my heart. I know how I was raised. I wasn't raised to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have never intentionally done that to anybody. I was mad. Anyway, what do we call this? You said, what do we want to call today's video, guys? You call it dating tea. I can't see all these messages. I had a married coworker dating the supervisor. He had so many jobs, she either wasn't paying attention to the signs or knew and didn't care. It was almost as if he had two wives. It was deep. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that's going on. Yeah, traditions. Dating tea. This is the dating tea. Okay, I'm going to call it dating tea. Because we done talked about a bunch of stuff. I've been on here forever at this point. I got to go. All right. Blessings in abundance, guys. See you tomorrow for tomorrow's lives. How to peep game. That's another one. The dating tea. I think I'm going to call it the dating tea. The good and the bad. Somebody said call it love languages. We only talked about that for a second, though. Dating tea. I might call it dating tea and put a subtitle on it. All right. Blessings in abundance, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.